So I came back for a week, said I wasn't going to miss anymore. Missed last week, but I'm back.
That's right.
And I'm going to stay this time. I'm going to stop leaving you hanging.
You promise?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, for real. This summer's over. Kids are back into routine, all that good stuff. And I don't even remember what happened last Friday. The reason why I couldn't. Oh, I was traveling. That's what it was. I was traveling. For once, you're usually the jet setter, and I was traveling for once. But I'm going to quit missing. I'm going to stop. Like, I got to, remember how to do this stuff. I got to remember how to trade again. It's going to be horrible when I trade on Monday.
Don't worry. I thought I forgot. I forgot how to today.
So, like, next Friday when we do this, I'm going to have some serious loss porn. All my charts losers.
Hey, I had some today.
I'm cool with it. I'll show them because people love a good loss. But anyway, so I need like 30 seconds to finish pouring my drink. Not kidding. So in that 30 second, I'm going to do the intro thing. Going to come back, chop it up.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay, just in time. All right, so I know I'm here, right? I'm here, obviously, but I'm also still kind of leaving you hanging because I literally have 0 charts to show. But for the record, I was at my desk all day on Thursday, about till 1. I think I left around 1. And I tried to, post some commentary and stuff, but I kind of felt weird posting commentary in our room if I'm not actively trading. So I kind of just observed and watched, and that was pretty much all I did. I didn't want to, say too much when I'm just observing. But I will also say that on, what day was that? Thursday, when I was just observing, that's hard to do.
Oh, yeah, man. I can't do that.
Like, that was a kind of a good tested discipline. And to help me with that, I only opened up my charting software. I didn't open up DOS where I would actually execute. But yeah, just watching the markets on Thursday, every time I typed in BCIG into our chat, or me and you were talking back and forth, every single time I typed in that ticker, I almost pulled up DOS and hit it, because that was... I've been pretty vocal about the lack of day 2 setups lately. But that was like, I opened up my damn trade ideas over here, and I see it, and I look at it, and I'm like, that's a perfect fucking setup. And I didn't take it. Regret?
Man, I don't ever trust them just because they don't ever seem to work for me.
Yeah, they've been tough, but that I don't. Maybe they're coming back. I don't know. I'm kind of out of the game, and that's why I wanted to watch Thursday. I took some notes. Today I got home around 2-ish today, and I pulled up charts, and I got some notes over here that I want to look through some chart. I'm gonna prep for Monday, but my days of summer not trading are over. So we both like to trade day 1 gappers, but on the day 2 side that hold up. Gaps on day 1, day 2, it either gaps up or down based on the previous day's close. And if it's up enough, we like to trade those, but that hasn't been a thing much over the last, I don't know, what'd you say, 6-9 months maybe, give or take?
At least. I'd say closer to more like a year.
Yeah, it's been
It's like, just a day 2 gap down short, not like basically the stock isn't going to be a multi-day runner.
Right. Actually, so do you have charts you want to show?
I have a couple. Yeah.
Show them things, because while you're doing that, I'm going to go pull this VCIG chart and show what I kept talking about in the room, because this was, in my opinion, a really nice setup. I just didn't take it, but
okay. Well, hey, since you're going to show that, I'll show One of my bigger size losses of this week on VCIG the day before.
How dare you show a loss?
I know, man. It's terrible. Let's see here. Pull this thing up.
Did you try VCIG on the first day?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay. So this was it.
Oh, I remember you posting this. Yes, I remember you posting this in the room too.
Yeah, I posted that I was going to try. It looked to me, it was looking kind of like a gap and crap type play, sort of. I mean, that's a pretty big gap, and so I don't know if you can see here, but I shorted. I had my orders set. I had 2 orders set, and then I added into it right at VWAP, right above it. And then I stopped out because we've talked about this a lot. You can see on the time and sales and the level 2, it's right at that limit up on your
Look like level it's about 2. To halt.
And yeah, it was definitely about, it did halt, but and it was doing on the time and sales, it was all red orders, the same price, so it's about to halt. So I get all out. It halts at that level, and immediately when it opens, it immediately tanks. And so I start trying to get back in, and I don't remember what the deal was, but I've got filled down here, and then I added into it, and then I added in more than I should have, and I stopped myself out here, and I lost quite a bit more than I was planning on. It was just a kind of semi-tilty type trade, but I knew that after that, I didn't need to mess with it anymore. I had the wrong idea. Gap and craps aren't necessarily like that play, that setup isn't my specialty. It's really more your specialty. So I was just going for it. I guess it would have been better if it was further away from VWAP. I don't know. What would your critique be?
This is all hindsight, right? And even on hindsight, I still would have lost just looking at the chart. I like this for a gap and crap setup, right? Because it kind of looked a huge gap, looked like it was going to open weak. The pop to VWAP, I would have gotten short, risked my typical set amount percent, going for the 2-1, 3-1, whatever, based on how much the gap was. But it looks like this was a big enough gap. I probably went for 3-1, so I would have probably risked like 7%. And I would have stopped out. But honestly, just looking at this chart, I may have hit it again on that lower high right below the pre-market high. When it looked like it kind of rejected a little bit.
Yeah.
But then it went down to VWAP and ripped face again.
Yep.
Shit, this may have been a ticker I lost twice on just looking at it, because I do like using pre-market high also as a, level of resistance or whatever. Don't know for sure, but I could have seen myself doing something like that just because, again, statistically, we know that most of these things don't break pre-market high. That's just the data set favors us in that regard. But I may have lost twice on this. Based on this, I see. So maybe it would have been a safer day 2 than not. That lower high was near a fib. I don't use fibs. I know some guys that do, and some guys swear by them. I've never used them. Have you ever used fibs?
I tried to last year, and I think that they can be helpful, but it just depends on how much stuff you want to cram onto your chart. I've got what I like to look at now, and it's more than this. This is just the charts that I don't trade on this chart. All this chart is for me to post it to Twitter or
right,
whatever. Just a clean chart. You can see the pre-market. You can see VWAP. You can see the volume. That's about it. When I'm trading, I've got uh, I've got a few EMAs on there. I've got volume by price on the side of the charts. I've got volume down here at the bottom. I've got RSI in between there. I've got I might have a bunch of lines drawn. It just depends. But I dirty my charts up, and fibs are good.
I mean, I know, like, I remember our boy JJ, he was all about the fibs. I think there's some guys that use fibs pretty regularly. No, I get what you're saying. I like that, actually. That keeps your entries and your exits pretty consistent when it comes to, like, risk reward and things like that. That's smart.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you're using it.
Actually, Mike in our room.
Yeah, Mike D.
Yeah, Mike D. He was for a while using fibs for that same type of thing. Not so much as an indicator to enter exit, but more as an indicator to, like, risk reward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was using it like that. Just smart. It's cool.
I like it. I like the idea.
It's just, I mean, this I would have taken this too. This looks like it would have fit my gap and crap criteria. You know, huge gap, opening week. I'd have tried it. I'd have lost. And I may have tried it a second time at that lower high off pre-market high. And I'm just looking at it now. I probably would have taken a loss on that too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, you win some, you lose some. You know, it's part of it. People don't talk about the losses, but that's part of it, man. Like, I've been pretty transparent. My win rate sits in the 65, 70 range, depending on the setup, and it's just part of it. So I lose about a third of the time.
You got to be able to lose. That's like the most important thing ever.
And some guys have 99% win rates. I shouldn't say 99, 90, 95, but obviously their losses can be, you know, that's where you get into risk reward and win rate. They got to correlate. And a lot of guys with really high win rates, when they do lose, sometimes their losses are pretty detrimental. I just can't stomach like a loss erasing weeks or months of work. No, that's just not in my blood. That ain't in my DNA.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people with really high win rates that they'll literally let it. I mean, I'm not naming any names. I'm saying,
you know what? Let's name him, because shit, he's y'all want to see a transparent fucking trader? Look up, I don't know what his Twitter name is. If you just go to Twitter and search Madaz, Madaz. That dude posts the good, the bad, the ugly. So shout out to him for that. He's transparent as hell. Literally posts every P&L every day.
Oh yeah, no, dude, that he is, and that's just.
You take the loss, then you start thinking about, hell yeah, I could use a new fridge. I could use a new vehicle. Always, I could use a new truck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, same.
Losses suck, but you know, it's part of it. I can guarantee you, my first week back, I'm gonna take probably some stupid losses. I'm gonna have to get I've never taken as much time off as I did this summer. We'll see how it goes. I'm curious to see how it is when I get back. Some people are like, oh, it's gonna be the best thing you've ever done. You're gonna come back refreshed and sharp, and I'm definitely gonna be trading less, especially the first couple weeks. But I'm cool with that.
Hey, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I need to be more selective anyway, because I talked about that on earlier episodes, just between you and I. You know, and the bank stock madness went crazy, and I had some big wins. And then I was getting to a point where I was trading 6, 7, 8 tickers a day, which is not common for me. So I need to hone it back in and really focus more on the things that I know. So this is the VCIG chart. I just pulled it real quick, so I don't have a lot of time to make cool not pictures, but, you know, mark it up and all that type of stuff. But basically, let's see here. So you traded it right in here, right?
Yep.
Day one. This was the day one gap. This is where you traded it. Totally get it. I tried to put that little crosshair as close as I could, just as quick as I could. But basically, it bounced off this line a few times, in the previous day, and I didn't get the volume profile picture that shows volume by price, but there was some heavy volume in this area as well. So basically, the short of it is the whole day two part is right. This gapped up and it held up. Right, it held the gap. So the next day's open was right over in here. But what I was talking about in the chat is I said if it ever breaks above 650, or was it 650 or 550? I don't have the prices on here. Whatever this was, I wanted to hit it just above this little line. Well, it gave me my entry point. And I think I even said to you or somebody in the room or something like, I said, I'm not trading, but if I were, I want that. I would have taken that. And that would have been a nice trade. And actually, since then, it's went lower had I swung it. But this was a nice day two setup. Like, I haven't seen a setup like this on the day two side in a long time. But I mean, this was a big gap that it held. And then this was a nice little pop, or even right here, if you want to wait till open. Either one was a pop above that line. I'm not big into pre-market trading. If I'd have hit it here, it would have been small size. Really good ad spot right there, though. And then, I mean, it worked out nicely. So that's the day two that I was, yes, I think it was 650. Pretty positive when I put in the room. I said anything above 650, I'd want to hit.
Yeah, that was clean, man. It really was.
Like, that was a nice, this is like a perfect day two setup. But I just haven't seen it in, like you said, a year. Could be a year. I don't know. Anyway.
Hey, it was clean, man. It's just not something I usually take, so I didn't take it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't think you should take stuff unless you have, what you feel is an edge in that setup, whatever. I'm going to touch on edge later, but not yet. But I'm going to touch on edge.
That's right.
All right, what else you got? I know you got a couple more, right?
Yeah, I'll show a pretty sweet long that I took. I took a loss on this ticker today, but
what ticker was it?
VFS.
Dude, so I put in the room that this ticker right here, this is madness.
Yeah.
What even is VFS? I saw it was a Vietnam ticker. You may as well say China type ticker. This thing's market cap is bigger than Ford right now.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than like what else? Something like Disney or something like that.
Probably. This is insane. I mean, is this a SPAC? Is this a new?
Yeah,
okay.
It's new. It's pretty new.
Your boy Charles was like, dude, the backside on this is going to be epic. And I'm definitely going to have this chart pulled up on Monday. This is the type of trade, like, I might take a shot on this and keep the risk really, really tight because of the volatility and how stupid it is. But shit, I would take a shot because the backside on this is going to be ridiculous. This thing's going to fade in one day like 20, 30 points.
Like RATO.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was talking with a friend of mine. He and I used to trade OTCs, and we both made the same joke. Like, we didn't know. We said we didn't realize OTCs were trading on the listed exchanges now, because that literally looked like an OTC chart.
Yeah, I saw where Stan tried to hit it the day before and got stopped out in that big blow, that just random little blow off move in the middle of the day, man.
It's the third biggest automaker in the world right now. Absolutely ridiculous. So it's the third biggest automaker in the world out of Vietnam, some unheard company.
By market cap.
Right. Yeah. I got you.
Let's see here.
Do they make stuff or is it like HKD? That's a good question. No, it's a legit business, just obviously overpriced. Yeah, man, this thing is gonna die a horrible death. So for those of you that didn't see RETO, it literally went like totally inorganic, just a super nice, steady. It never went straight up, but it was a nice, steady 10, 20% gain every day for like how many days? 10, 12 days? It was a lot. And then all in one day, huge red candle, gave it all back. All in one day.
It was like an 80 or 90% move.
Yeah, and that's what OTCs used to do. OTCs would have these totally inorganic, slow run-ups over time, and then the rug pull. And those rug pulls weren't a 20 or 30% dump. Those rug pulls were the entirety of the move. And when I saw that RETO chart, my first thought was, damn, good to see OTC's back. It wasn't even an OTC. It was a listed stock.
Yeah, that was unreal, man. I haven't seen a dump like that. And you know what? I will say last year, and it's funny that it's this ticker because Charles longed it this day. The day that iLag made that crazy move.
He longed that?
No, he that same day there was supposed to be, in the whole supposed to be thing that people, people that play these Chinese liquidations, I've never understood it. I've never tried to understand it. I don't know the specifics behind it, but the same day that iLag made that move when everybody was trying to short it, Top, the one that made the even crazier move a few months ago, it straight up liquidated from like $20 to like $2 or something. It that same day, but people weren't talking about it.
I guess because iLag was that took out a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
I shorted it that day, but I shorted it as a parabolic. I didn't, because I don't know anything about these, whatever. But anyway, yeah.
This. So you posted this either in the room or on Twitter. I forget where you posted it first. But I thought my comment was, I was like, this right here, this is the classic seller's long. Midday long on some crazy. I've never been good at longing, especially stuff that's already overextended. But you forever were like killing these plays on like an overextended stock, had a little dip, and you would long that shit. Then it'd go up another, 10, 20, 30. This is like, when I look at this, I'm like, this is your chart.
Hey, thanks, man. And I really loved the way I played it too. Just everything about it set up just right for me, and it's one of those ones that was like, I'm glad I didn't see it until I did, because I would have been like fumbling around with it around here. So, sometimes it's like, I was telling somebody else this, if you're always looking for opportunity, everything looks like an opportunity.
I like that.
Yeah, my best trades come when I'm like just not really caring. Like I like to scalp futures during the day if I'm bored.
So what made you hit that long right there?
So like it made this. I'm not even going to call it a blow off move because, this was all on. You see the
pretty low volume, right?
Yeah, relatively low.
I know it's a higher price ticker, so you're not expecting to see millions of shares a minute, but even for the price and the volume, it seems a little on the low side.
It was just grinding up all day, just lower highs, just bouncing off of VWAP, and then it's it kind of made this semi overextended move here, further away from VWAP, and set a high, and then kind of faded down, and I saw it around here, and I was just I just had it up on the screen. I was just kind of watching it, and I was watching the volume fade off, and I was like, oh man, this might fade, and then you see this guy, this volume candle come in, and that little candle, and I was like, okay, I'm watching it, so it's like it's kind of breaking out of that little downtrend, but I was thinking I might just set a lower high and then die. But this time of day is really specific, around lunchtime.
That's usually when your longs take place.
Yep, because it did that, and it kind of hesitated right there under that high, and it was getting a little more volume. I'm kind of longing it here in this dip area, but to me, if it would have started breaking down, it would have been, easy for me to just get out.
Right. So I was wondering too. I guess the first thing that comes to mind, right, for me as a overly biased short seller, is I may have tried to short it there, just based on the fact that it was overextended off of VWAP, right? That's really the first, almost like you said, semi blow off move off of VWAP on the heaviest volume of the day at that time. So if
Yeah.
I would have shorted it any time after that, if I set a stop loss, it's automatically going to be where? Like right above where you longed it. And if
Yep.
it eclipses that, because this was a low float, right? Pretty low float, SPAC, all that shit.
Oh
So
yeah.
if it eclipses that high a day, it's gonna do what it did. So I
Yeah,
feel
and
like this
I
was a good I don't know how to word it, like almost like you longed it where you're thinking all these other people are gonna short it based on X, Y, and Z, and it's gonna fuck them all, and it did. Like,
well,
really
and
bad.
I'm also thinking like I was on the daily chart. The only other level that there was around like $40.
Ah,
I think is what I think that's where it was. Like the previous like big high, because it is a relatively recent IPO. Um,
so I know I got my glasses on, but I still can't see. You made like
it was a, it
shit,
was a
10
good trade.
points, 10 points, roughly eight, maybe eight on
Yeah,
average.
and I hate it that I didn't sell into this big move. I was just like in shock when I saw it. Like
Hell
I hate
yeah,
it that I
I'd have
didn't
been in
sell it.
shock too.
I was like, damn, this is going to 100. You're just like, let me
I
hold the
think I
last
joked
bit.
in the room and said, "Is VSF gonna go to 100 after hours?" But of course it didn't.
Yeah. But I wanted to sell most of it into that $40 area and just hold a little bit just to see, because if I was shorting this, that's where I would have wanted to short it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I did. I didn't really want to short it, but it
this
worked.
thing's nice.
Yeah, it worked out. Like if I could get every long to look like that, that's how I'd want it to be.
Oh hell yeah.
It just worked out good. I'm just, you have to try to think of like, who's trapped in this. What are they going to do if it goes here? Just the idea. You have to try to think of.
Well, we know a lot of people like to take shorts on the first major extension off of VWAP, right there where your mouse is. Like a
Yep.
lot of people like to short it on that first big extension. I think a lot of people probably considered right there the blow off move, the biggest
Yeah.
volume candle, extended off of VWAP. And a lot of short sellers are probably like, that's it. It's done. There's the blow off. Here we go. We're going to round trip back down. Obviously, this stock had other ideas.
Yeah.
But SPACs, especially low float SPACs, this doesn't surprise me. They're grimy as fuck. That's some grimy shit.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, if I was looking to short this, that right there
Beautiful.
would have
That's a
been.
good entry. That's a good short entry.
Yeah. That
And it's
area
okay
right there.
if you're wrong. Like I would have cut it, but that's a good short entry because more times than not, we see that blow off move with that volume, that extension above VWAP, and we know what the outcome is, especially on SPACs like this that are what the guy said. What is it? Third biggest automaker in the world. We've seen this story before. Remember Nikola
Oh yeah.
when it was doing all its craziness? I don't know what Nikola's trading at now. I haven't looked at it forever. I don't know if it's reverse split, this, that, or the other, but they literally had to push a truck downhill to make it go.
I remember that. I remember
And the
when that
stock
happened,
price
man.
went with it. And that company, for a time, I think had a bigger market cap than like GM and Ford, if I remember right. But anyway,
Yeah, man. I remember that. That was in like the 21 days, wasn't it?
yeah, that's been a while ago. This is going to end the same way. It's just a matter of time. And of course, you got to get your timing right. Like I said, I might take a shot at this on Monday, depending on locate prices. I would keep the risk hella tight because of the ridiculousness that we see here. But these are the type of charts where I would take a shot. If I'm wrong, cool, I'm wrong. I'll take my loss. But damn it, if I'm right, I'm going to catch like 10, 20 points on the downside because this thing is going to rug pull and it's going to be nasty.
Oh yeah.
It's just a matter of time. I don't know if it'll be Monday. It could be Friday. It could be next week. I don't know, but we know that it's coming.
Oh, ain't
That
no
much
doubt.
we know.
Hey, what's up, Kevin? How you doing?
You know Kevin? You know Kevin, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. Yeah, this thing's gonna offer up a nice opportunity. Like Charles said, this thing is it's gonna offer a nice opportunity. Well, I think what I'm most mad though about the fact that I didn't trade last week when I was reviewing some charts is AMC. AMC offered a perfect reverse split short opportunity. Me and your boy Charles have talked about that numerous times. Those have been paying me more this year than I have ever made in a single year on reverse split plays. And I've been playing them for a while, but this year for reverse splits, unreal. Because the amount of, and I think it's a cycle. Like we talk about market cycles, but 2022, 2023, the market hasn't been as strong. So a lot of these shitco companies aren't, the stock just doesn't keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way that they can stay relevant is to reverse split. So maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like the amount of opportunities for reverse splits have been more plentiful this year than they have in years past. And I think
they
that's
definitely have.
and I think that's just because of market conditions. But holy shit, reverse splits have been some of my most profitable setups by a large margin.
Oh yeah, man. And Charles, he kills them.
Yeah, I know he's taking more size than me because he's a freaking retail whale and good on him. But I mean, damn, those things have been paying.
Oh yeah.
And AMC on its reverse split day was down like what, 30%, maybe even 40 from the pre-market high.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, blood in the water. And that was a beautiful one because you know the apes are gonna hold that till their grave. So they're just gonna go down with the ship. They're probably out of money. They can't buy anymore. Oh, Adam Aaron or whatever his name is, because continuing to just dump shares. I think he put out an S3 today where he's dumping more shares, and then the ape has to convert. All this stuff. AMC is cooked. They're done. And that reverse split short was beautiful. And if anybody's listening to this that's like, oh, AMC to the moon, the MOAS or whatever y'all call it, that's already happened. That happened back in what was it, 2019, 2020 when it went up to like 70, 80 bucks?
Yeah.
I don't know.
mean, I tell a lot of people that that was the trade, the long trade overnight that got me my first PDT account.
That's right.
I think I took like $9,000 worth of shares at like $3 or $4. Woke up the next day with like 26 grand in the account.
I mean, it was an amazing opportunity, but it's not going to do that again. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I sold $50 away from the high, and I never longed it again. I don't think. I mean, just because it was such a ridiculous move. I mean, I think I traded it.
Yeah, I've traded it numerous times, but never on the long side expecting a MOAS, as they call it. It was the most overhyped stock on social media for a long time. A lot of people lost a lot of money on that stock, and it's sad to see.
Oh, that it's bad when like people you from high school or whatever that have no idea about trading are talking about AMC and GameStop and BlackBerry and all that. I remember there was guys that I knew that I either went to high school with or just knew from back then that were talking about. I remember they'd be talking about like, oh, I'm gonna retire off of AMC and I'm like, man, I'd already been trading for like, I think like 2 years then, 1.5, 2 years, and I already knew the deal, man. I was like, no, you're not. Like, that ain't happening.
It was a perfect storm, man. COVID, everybody's at home getting stimmy checks. The Reddit boards are going crazy. It was a perfect storm. We know the story, but it ain't gonna do that again. So I don't know. Sucks for anybody that's stuck long, and now the reverse split. It pulled a page straight out of the Mulan playbook. Reverse split, dump some paper. Stock just continues to go lower and lower and lower. Story's over. Anyway.
It sucks, man. I try telling people all the time on Wall Street bets on Facebook and stuff like that. I'm like, man, like, I'm not trying to be mean. Just y'all need to cut your loss and quit letting this rule your life. And they get mad as hell at me, man.
The
They're like,
problem is too, they would follow these YouTubers or these people on Twitter that would advocate for AMC and go crazy about it. And because they had a big following, people were like, "Oh, they're right." They didn't know what the hell they're talking about.
man, I remember that, like, social media like bodybuilders that I would follow.
Then they're talking about AMC.
Yes, they're like they're promoting it too and shit like that. I'm like, man,
That's when you know the top is in. That's when the top is in right there.
Yeah. They were all talking about the Doge dog whatever coin, the
Dogecoin, yeah.
all that shit, man. And I mean, you know, we don't have to even talk about this.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, we're going off on a tangent. Yeah, I know you got another chart to show.
Let's see.
I swear I'm gonna have some next week. Like legitimately, I'm gonna have multiple. They might all be losses, but I'm gonna have some charts.
I got a reverse. Was this reverse split? No, I don't. No, this was took a loss on TMBR.
Timber.
Yeah, it was like a. I'm trying to remember what the news was.
I just now noticed you changed your Twitter handle on here.
Yeah, man, we got to change it on the intro video too, because.
Oh shit! Good call.
I know we talked about it. I talked about it a little bit last week, but you know, some people know I got banned on Twitter. My old Twitter account that I've had since 2011. So that really sucked. But
oh shit, was this a reverse split? What is this? This is a big gap.
Yeah, I know, man. And there was a nice level right around here on the 1 hour chart. I thought I missed it, so I was like, whatever. I'm just chasing
it down.
Yeah, and wind up like stopping out when it broke over VWAP like that. And it wound up just being a sideways trade. It wasn't it wasn't a bad loss. I shouldn't have taken it in pre-market. I took this when I was driving to the airport off my phone.
Dude, every time I trade pre-market, I pretty much regret it. The only time I was talking about this with somebody the other day. I have one trade that comes to mind for me this whole year that I am happy with my pre-market entry. I used to love trading the day twos on a pre-market. That was a thing, but it's kind of, we haven't seen that in a while for what we trade. But anyway, the one pre-market trade I can remember from this year that I'm like, hell yeah, I'm glad I took that, was a bank stock, not on the March liquidation run, but on I think the May was round 2. And I shorted one of those in May in pre-market because I was expecting when it opened, the stock was just the bottom was gonna fall out, and it did. But that's literally the only trade I can remember this whole year where I'm like, hell yeah, I am really glad that I traded pre-market. One trade the whole year. That tells you how bad I suck at pre-market trading.
I remember that trade.
I think it was FRC.
Yeah, I think it was too.
Yeah, because March was not FRC. March was, I don't know the other one, SIVB or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, and TMBR, it was buyout news. But I liked the little level there, and that gap was huge. So, I thought it might end up being like one of those deals where it's like, never mind. You
just got a top ticket. I don't know what your problem was. Just top ticket. It's easy.
I know. Hey, I kind of almost top ticked this one. Let's see. This was pretty cool. Let's see here. This was a good play, and I don't usually play these. The sub $1.
Yeah, I got into, who was I talking with about that? Oh, Thiz, our boy Thiz. I was talking about subbies, and I do like subbies, but I did some deep diving this summer. I was looking through a lot of my TraderSync charts, trying to find stuff that I do well, I don't do. I'm not trading, I'm at least trying to deep dive into some stats. Anyway, long story short, damn, man, the amount of fees and stuff I pay on, like I could have some really solid wins on subbies, but then you factor in fees and it's like, it does negate a large chunk. However, looking at this chart, when you have ones that play out like this, I don't think I'd give a damn about fees because it's pretty good.
Yeah, man,
this is good.
this was a gnarly play, man. I didn't. I guess
Did
I
you
just
long this first and then flip short?
yeah.
That's
I
pro
did.
play. That's pro as shit.
Thanks, man. The long it wasn't huge. I just was like, man. I mean, I thought it was going to do that, and so it worked out good. I really wanted it to do this during the
Yep. I love Cobra to death. I love him to death. Best broker out there, in my opinion. But
same.
I don't know of a broker that you can take big size on these sub $1 and not just pay hand over foot and fees. I know Centerpoint does pretty well, but you got to also have a fat 250K account at Centerpoint to get that reduced price. Not everybody has 250K sitting in a broker account to get a discount on sub $1 stocks. So
Yeah,
it
I
makes
think
it kind of tough.
Charles uses them.
Of
But
course he does.
He probably has that much in there. So
Probably does.
um,
Yeah, subs are tough on the fees, man.
it's got to be worth it, man. And
This was a good one because I remember this is a chart I paid attention to in my time away, just because of to me it kind of mimicked the OTC. You know, just the constant slow. I shouldn't say slow. But, over the course of a week, I mean, this thing was overextended hundreds of percent, right? Like hundreds.
yeah.
Yeah,
And this is a name this is a name that we've seen for years and years. Like, I mean, this name's been doing this same kind of stuff like since I started trading. So
yeah, this thing used to trade way higher price too.
way higher. I've been trading this thing for years, so I was pretty comfortable trading it.
I think the last time I traded it before this, it was in the teens, if I remember right.
Oh yeah.
But that's sick.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was one of my better plays this week. And I'll show today. I'll show this one too, and this is just a little bit of hindsight. We were talking. Get back on the VFS. This ticker.
Oh, I saw you post this.
Yeah, and I didn't have these lines drawn. I did this later on in hindsight, kind of just talking about. In hindsight, this wasn't a good short. It kind of made this low volume grind up in after hours and pre-market, and it was just holding right there above and then it bounced off of the close. I mean, there was just so many reasons not to short this. But I think Charles was trying to short it, and
dude, I'm sure a lot of people were trying to short this just based on the amount of extension.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, I mean, it's not HKD, whatever. Like, I'm gonna try, and I went a little smaller size, and everybody always says that when they take a loss, but I really did, and I let it be a little bit.
I love that though. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what was it? 2 days ago on what was the ticker? VCIG, and you were like, oh, you can't say that. I did take big size, and I did take a big loss. So
it's just funny though. On Twitter, anytime somebody takes a loss, right? They could take 4, 5, 6 cuts on the way up, and they'll be like, small size, made my money on the backside. Fuck out of here. No, you didn't.
I don't care, man. I don't know why anybody would want to lie unless they're, selling something. And
yeah, well, the majority of people are. So whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Or I don't know. Some people I think just like the Twitter clout. Like some guys just don't sell stuff, but I look at their charts and I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Like, how do you literally top tick every trade you take? And then your covers also in your target area are also the bottom. Come on, man.
Hey, I don't know, man. I get lucky sometimes, but then also sometimes get these, and I don't mind sharing it.
No, I mean, I've seriously had more top tick exits. You know, like most of my top ticks are the covers. You know, where I'm taking a loss. Dude, I don't. Oh, here we go. Who does that? If you log into Twitter, you're asking the wrong question. It's who doesn't do that you got to pay attention to. Because on Twitter, everybody has perfect charts or top ticks or tiny losses or whatever.
I'm the
Twitter's
only
a
one that
joke,
deserves. I'm the only one that deserves perfect charts.
I tell people all the time, and somebody said it to you. Somebody said when you got kicked off of Twitter, they were like, "Oh, he's going to trade better now," and I was like, "You're probably absolutely right," because Twitter's a fucking joke, man.
Yeah,
It's just so
I mean,
fake.
if we didn't have this little show and stuff, I probably would have just stayed off. But
And you know what? If we didn't have the show and you stayed off, I probably also would have been like, "Yeah, I'm done." It's just toxic, man. No, I don't know. The best thing that's come off of Twitter for me is like the networking, right? Like stuff like this. I've networked with a couple legitimate people, but the majority of it's just complete bullshit. 95% of it.
oh yeah, well, and I mean, I could have stayed off, but like I said, I like talking with the guys. It's fun for me. I don't get too into it. I mean, as far as like, I don't fight with anybody on there, and
Yeah, you're a nice guy on Twitter.
I don't mind just posting all my charts, even if it's like today. I like doing that because it kind of makes me trade better in the back of my head, knowing sometimes.
No, I think accountability is good, and that's something I think about the Discord room that I do like. Is it adds some accountability, right? Like if we're gonna be in there trying to, either help people or post our shit, like I can't just be posting some jack off charts, right? I gotta post some legitimate, look like I know what I'm doing, so I gotta keep myself in check.
That's
for
right.
those reasons as well. So accountability is good, and I do think that anybody that trades, trading is lonely as a retail trader.
But you got to trade like somebody standing behind you all the time,
right?
Because if you don't, you start doing dumb shit. I mean,
100%.
Especially if you're one of these people that doesn't think that a broker max loss is important. I don't care who you are. You're human, man. Like, it is so easy to. I like the way Jet puts it. See red and just.
Dude, I've done it.
Yeah, man, I've done it before too. It'll sneak up on you and you won't even realize that. Everybody's like, "Oh, I've got laser focus. Oh, that never happens to me. I'm so disciplined." Yeah, right. Shut up. It will happen to you. I promise it will. I'm a pretty disciplined person. Like I get my shit done in the day. Like I trade, but like I also take care of shit. I handle my family. But man, with something like this, it's so easy to slip off that edge and just fall down that hole in a split second. And anybody that says, "Oh, nope, doesn't happen to me," never does. Bullshit. You're a fucking liar.
Some of my biggest losses over the years have been where I'm already down a pretty decent sized chunk of money, right?
Yep. Same
and
here.
I get in this mindset where I'm like, fuck it. I'm already down a bunch of money. Who cares if I double it? Who cares? I'm already down a bunch of money. Let's say I have a 20K account, right? And I've already taken 10K, a huge 10K loss, right? And I'm like, I got half my account left. Who gives a shit if I lose the other half? I don't care. You just get in that mindset, and it's super dangerous.
Then the next day you're like, damn it, I wish I still had that other half.
Yeah.
So I'd be happier with that than
seriously,
nothing.
A max loss protects you from you, because that mindset, it'll happen. It's horrible. It's toxic, and it'll get you. Nobody's above that. I really don't think anybody's above
There's
that.
not a single person on Twitter, unless you're like some kind of, I say Twitter. There's not a single person above that at all, ever. I mean, go watch the movie The Big Short. I used to think that movie was so cool when I first started like short selling and stuff. I was like, oh man, yeah, he made a killing. But like when you think about it, I mean, it was toxic and terrible, man. He's like pulling his hair out as he's like losing his business, and he he's losing his fund, and he's just gonna let it happen. He's just
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm just like no stop loss ever. Just I'm either gonna win big or I'm gonna ruin my entire life, and that's like,
and
and
his employees too, for that matter.
yeah, his employees and his investors, man. So it's
Yep.
like I don't like the idea of the movie. It, you know,
Oh, yeah. That's a real thing. I guess if you think you have a max loss and then you realize you don't. But yeah, I've heard of that happening to some people. I've
oh
heard of
yeah,
that happening to certain people with a certain broker that I don't want to just badmouth, but
yeah, and it's the same broker that I was with. I
I've
want to
been with
say
that broker too.
it was the beginning of last year. I think it was the beginning of last year. It might have been 21. There, it was. The ticker was BCEL, and I don't. I don't allow myself to take $10,000 losses anymore. My max loss is set lower than that. I didn't have a broker max loss set, but I did have a stop loss set, and I was short that stock from the morning, and this thing right into the end of the day started ripping. Just, I mean, what was it? Hundreds of percent.
I remember
And
that. Yep.
it totally skipped my stop loss. Didn't stop me out at all, and I wound up taking like an 11K loss.
Mm.
It was a big ass loss, just unexpected. It was I do the set it and forget it thing on a lot of my trades then,
Yeah,
uh,
I use range orders a lot.
and yeah, this man, at the time, I was still working construction, and so I had to do that a lot. And man, yeah, that was a terrible feeling. I mean, it's not the biggest loss I've ever taken, but yeah. So you just have to be careful with that shit, and it'll fuck you up real quick.
Yeah, and one thing I would say to anybody too, say you set your max loss at 5,000, right? Say you set it 1,000, it don't matter. Whatever your number is, your broker is going to do the best they can to get you out at that number. At least that's what they say. Um, with Cobra, I've never experienced anything less than that. But even with them, if you're in a ticker that's super volatile and it just skips up 3-4 points or halts up, after skipping up 3 or 4 points, your broker can't get you out if the market ain't open, or your broker can't get you out if they can't get executed. Like when a stock skips up 3-4 points or halts up and skips up, whatever, they're going to do the best they can to get you out. So if I'm just saying all this to say, if your broker max loss is 5K and a stock goes stupid, slippage is real. And if you haven't experienced slippage, it's inevitable that you will at some point, especially if you start using any form of size, especially on low volume tickers. But slippage can be a mother, because I remember one of my first big losses, I had a max loss set of like 2,000, and my first big loss when I started to get back into trading was closer to like 35, and I'm like, what the hell happened? I thought they messed up. I called them. I was all worked up. Long story short, it was that halt up, boom, skipped. So keep that in mind. Anyway, you gonna tell them?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So
It was not trading related.
not trading related at all, man. And I mean, I'm not embarrassed by it. It's just kind of stupid. So like, it was 3 months ago, and so I guess somebody just kept reporting this. There's a video page that I don't follow. It's always getting shown to me. On Twitter, it would just be like crazy videos of just honestly stuff I didn't want to see. People getting hurt and things like that. And you know, it, Twitter will show you a bunch of stuff that you don't really want to see all the time. And I don't know why it was showing it to me. But anyway, I never comment on stuff like that. But I'm pretty passionate about my kids. Well, I have one, and I'll have another one here in a couple of months. And I mean, kids are. I love kids. I love the neighborhood kids here. I care about kids a lot. There's a video of this young boy, and he's like dancing on the street corner with his buddies or something. Just like being a 10 or 12-year-old kid, however old he was. I don't know. It doesn't say. Some grown man is driving by, hops out of the car, and comes over there. I mean, I'm talking full blown sucker punches him in the face. The kid like falls and hits the ground. I mean, it could have killed him if he hit him in the temple.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if he would have punched him right or he would have fell right, it could have either killed the kid or debilitated him for life.
Yeah, and I don't know the whole story. All it was saying, I looked at the comments and it said that the guy was in prison now, but it was like some very minor, like it was just going to be a few years or something compared to what it was. Man, I mean, I would call that more like attempted murder. I mean, if you're hitting a kid like that, it really pissed me off. And I commented on it and I said, I shouldn't have said it, but I said, I hope that MF dies or gets killed in prison. And I might have been drinking when I said it. That wasn't the right thing to say. That was a little extreme. I know. He hit him hard, man.
I've seen it too. It's a heart-wrenching video for sure.
Oh yeah, man. It about made me tear up. I think about somebody doing that to my son. I would be seeing red in another way.
I'd be in jail if that were my kid. I can tell you that.
Man. Like I could not, man. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I commented that, and it was like 3 months ago that I commented that.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about it.
And I get an email from Twitter, whatever it was, like 2 weeks ago one morning, and it was like, you have been enticing violence on Twitter and your account is now suspended. If you wish to what's it called, appeal this, you can. And I wrote him like 2 or 3 emails. I was like, hey, I get it, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Is this like a permanent thing, or is it just like, for a few days, whatever? I understand. It won't happen again. I've never caused any problems on here. I've had this account since 2011. And they just sent back, it was like it seemed like a computer generated email, because I'm pretty sure all this is just run off AI now.
Yeah,
the way they ban people. It just said, we've reviewed your comment and the video, and we have come to the conclusion that you did entice violence, and you will be permanently banned.
Yep, exactly. He was just dancing. That's all he was doing, just hanging out dancing with his friends.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's like, I just, I don't really want to. I don't want to kill anybody, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. It just, I don't know, man. It hurt me to see it, and
yeah, it was horrible, man.
And it just.
Then you got banned off of Twitter. But his new account is below his name. That's his new account.
Yeah, short_sellers. So if you want to follow me on there.
To clarify, the max loss wasn't set up. Yeah, so that would piss me off. And I understand the revenge trading because we've all been there, but that's why you have the max loss. So like, yeah, they're not going to refund you your money, or at least I assume they didn't, but it would piss me off if you like set a max loss, but they didn't set it on their side. Yeah, dude, I'd be really angry, because the whole point of a max loss is to like protect you from you. That's the whole point of it. And then you obviously went on to revenge trade, which I get. We've done it. I've done it. I did it. My last trade before I stopped trading for the summer, I don't remember the ticker anymore, but remember it's that trade I got involved in pre-market pretty heavy, and then it opened, it kept going, and I soldier at it. To the point where if that stock would have went up like 2 or 3% from my entry at open, I would have gotten stopped out for a max loss. That's how much tilt size, I mean, seriously, I was lucky that wasn't a max loss. Anyway.
Yeah, man. And that's the whole point, is like, I can say just from times it's happened to me when my max loss has gotten hit, it's almost like it's like somebody pulls the curtains off your eyes. It's like you're seeing red, whatever, and then it hits, and it's like clarity. Damn, that sucks that I lost that money, but this was about to get really bad, because if it gets to that point, I don't think a max loss is something that. I remember last year people just be hitting max losses, like every day I'd see just post just max loss, and I'm like, man, a max loss, and I was too at the time. It's not something that should just be, that you should be hitting on the regular. Like this is something that's
Should be an outlier move.
yeah, an outlier move. You lost control, or something went way further than you can handle, and the broker stepped in, got you out safe. And it's good. It's a damn good thing.
You fellas reviewed GNS and LQR in the after hours. They both kept just wondering why anyone would want to push these two turds higher on a Friday.
Man, I feel like Friday is the best day to do it, because if you've got somebody, I can't tell you how many times, like when I used to be like the type of person that couldn't take a loss, I remember a ticker either last year or the year before, me being short into a Friday, and it was like it kept on just grinding up.
Yeah, I don't have my charting pulled up anymore either, but I agree with you. Like, I used to long more stuff in 2019, 2020, and my best day for longs was Friday to Monday. If something had its first green day on a Friday, like, I would hold that shit over the weekend, because then news would circulate over the weekend and it would create a gap up on Monday. And that used to be a pattern that I could rely on back in the good old days. Yeah, I see it. I mean, so GNS, I see. What's the other ticker? LQR. I'm going to give you my real quick synopsis, because we're approaching, an hour. But
yes.
LQR is weird as shit. I don't know what created that move after hours on LQR. That looks strange, but this is also it's either a new SPAC, an IPO, a ticker change. This doesn't have a lot of history for me. So I would assume, when I see tickers that don't have a lot of history, at least in my opinion, I don't know what you think about this, but anything can happen. Like, when there's just not a lot of history, like literally anything can happen.
Oh yeah.
GNS, on the other hand, has been around for a while. I remember playing GNS a lot over the last few years. And GNS, just looking at the chart now, it looks like it didn't have a gap. But these are the plays I suck at. And I've told sellers this. I've told you all this. There was no gap. But then at open, it starts grinding. And it grinds off of VWAP. And it just keeps grinding into close.
Yeah, this Genius Group, I've traded it before.
And when they grind like that, they give you no exit. So then all these people that are shorting these pops during the day, or these what they consider overextension, especially when it got close to $1.50, if they start shorting that, and then after hours it starts getting back to that price point, they got to cover, because they don't want to hold short. If I'm a short seller, and I am a short seller largely, I don't want to swing stuff short from Friday to Monday. That's terrifying as shit. Because you don't know what kind of you don't know what kind of news is going to come out, what kind of filings, what is going to circulate Twitter. You could wake up Monday to a 200% loss. You have it'll ruin your weekend. You said it best. But when something moves like this on a Friday, that doesn't surprise me to see that after hours. Not a huge move after hours, but a pretty steady grind.
Low volume grind, man. Yep. That's the worst.
That's probably short sellers covering, is what that is. If I'm guessing, because throughout the day, GNS gave you no exit. As a short seller, you had nowhere to get out for any sort of profit. So they probably started covering after hours because they don't want to swing. And then it created a nice little pop, nice little run. And it was never a parabolic move. This whole GNS day, what do you think? In your opinion, right? This is not parabolic. This was just a grinder.
No, not at all. Yeah, it was just a grinder. And like there has been some times where I will attempt to short something that kind of grinds like that, if there's a nice level, But when it starts breaching that, you've got to. There's another one today that I almost shorted, and let me see.
What's funny is there's a nice hourly level on GNS. I don't know if you're looking at the chart.
I'm pulling it back.
GNS, the high and after hours was 174. There is a super nice hourly level at 174. That's funny.
Hang on. Pull this up.
Short Friday to Monday, worst swing. Yeah, I don't like swinging Friday to Monday. I'm not big on swings in general. I'll swing some stuff if it closes weak, but I like my sleep. I don't like having to wake up at 3 a.m. to see if I'm getting squeezed out. Grinders get shorts, no exit and cover. Yeah, that's my opinion. It gave them no exit. So if you're a short seller, it never gave you an exit opportunity. Their only opportunity to exit, after hours, if they see it continue to grind, they got to start covering, and that's what creates a nice little after hours run. And I wouldn't doubt after it hits that 170 area, I wouldn't doubt if you wake up Monday, this thing gapping down back into the 150s at open. If I'm guessing, if I'm gambling, I'm going to put money on this thing opens up at about 150 or lower. See if I'm right.
Yeah, that you're talking about on the 60-minute or 1 hour.
Yep.
Yeah, that 170 level. That's a nice level with volume.
Really nice level. Yep. With volume too. That's the key.
That is the key.
But I would think that this thing is going to open up sub 150 on Monday. See if I'm right. Either way, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't short it at 174 after hours. I wouldn't take that short. But if I were a gambling man, which I do like to go to a casino on occasion, that'd be my guess.
Yeah, I'm not big on the casino anymore.
Me neither.
I used to be. I used to like it.
We got one out of our back door. It's about 30 minutes away, but it's slots only, no tables, which is for the best, because if it had tables, I would probably be there more than I should be there, because I love to play blackjack. I love to play Mississippi Stud. Not a big slots player, though.
I like poker, man. I like playing poker with friends. I like
Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, I do. And if I was to go to the casino, I mean, I'll play blackjack usually.
I like blackjack. I love Mississippi Stud. That's my game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're well over an hour. I know we don't usually go this long, but, questions.
You're a Tennessee stud yourself.
It's funny.
I'm just
Dad
playing.
joke.
I'm just playing.
All right, so I was going to touch on some stuff with Edge, but I don't want to go too far on a tangent because we're at an hour and 10 minutes. But basically, Edge has been a hot topic on Twitter, right? And in Discord rooms and the interwebs, and people are like, oh, if I pull 10 years worth of historical data, I'm going to find Edge. So Edge is, in my opinion, the most hyped up word, most vague word. Nobody knows what it is. And all I'm going to say, so Edge, in my opinion, not a dictionary, but if I'm going to try to define Edge, it is something that should give you some sort of positive expectancy on the outcome of your trade.
And confidence, right?
Yeah, whether you're long or short. And that can be a psychological edge. It could be a data-driven edge, whatever. But all I was going to touch on is edge can be different for everybody, because there's some people who are solely discretionary and they're trading on the psychology of the masses or against the psychology of masses to make money. There are some people who find edge in data. We try to do it in a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
And I also think data, it's become a hot topic on Twitter. I think data is important because I use it, right? I have Excel sheets and stuff. I like data. I use data, but I also think it's one of the most overrated, overstated things on Twitter right now. If somebody tells me, hey man, I just pulled 10 years worth of historical data on gappers, I'm going to be like, well, good luck, because you're probably going to fail. I don't think, in my personal opinion, pulling 10 years worth of data on day one gappers is a good strategy.
I don't either.
Because you think about the markets, right? The markets in the last couple of years have been very different than they were in the prior 2 or 3 years. And that market was very different from the prior 2-3 years to that. So I actually think if you have an oversized sample of data, be it on gappers or whatever you're trying to trade, I think that can be a hindrance and can actually mess you up. Because this market we've seen in 2023 and 2022 is night and day different from 2019 to 2021. So
Way different.
yeah, so when people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Spike Heat and pull 10 years worth of data, and I'm gonna," good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not that easy. It really is not. Like I still to this day think screen time is more important than anything you could ever get. I don't care what type of systems you get. I don't care. Screen time is important. Hell yeah, I bet they have.
Oh
If
yeah, man. And
if you
I
were a
tried to be.
system, yeah, like we talked about this before. If you're a system guy and you got in the right system at the right time, you could make a whole lot of money. But if you get in the wrong system at the wrong time, you can lose a whole lot of money because that system is solely dependent on the market conditions. I
Yep.
don't think there's too many systems out there that are going to be like, "Pfft, whatever. I don't care what kind of market conditions we have. We're going to make money." I just don't think that exists.
Yeah, I just to me, just being 100% systematic, in my opinion, is never gonna work.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe
I
if
mean
you
the
continually to refine data year over year, maybe you can make that I don't know. I don't know. But market conditions change and data can be a blessing and a curse. If I were to take a data, like if you and I right now were to get a data set of gappers over the last 5 years, we are going to screw ourselves so bad.
I mean you just have to you have to figure out what the gappers are doing right now, and with screen time, say, I mean, this is just for example how I feel my edge works is I feel like I'm pretty good at picking up on the way things are happening currently. Like just
Reverse splits, for example, this year has been my most profitable setup. That might go away next year if the market conditions become more bullish and we're in a stronger cycle. That might not be the case.
right. I mean, I'm just thinking of a small example from something I saw today. The gapper that I tried to short. What's the name of that ticker? It was CRKN.
Hmm.
So last year it made that high, and then what did it do? Let's see here. I know I took a screenshot of it. I wanted to give an example.
No, do you think?
Just a real quick one, and it's just this is just kind of goes along with. So last year, something I noticed more, and this ended up being a win, but it wasn't as big of a win as I wanted it to be. I'm just using this as an example. This isn't how I like for my charts to look.
Oh yeah.
I oversized the front side on this, fake breakout move, but there was a decent little level here. It was actually it was like more like 240. But what I was expecting, and last year, something I noticed more than this year on gapper plays like this, is there would be so many times I saw a big wick above that high right there. Just like a just a stop loss raid. I feel like they did that a lot more last year, don't
Yep.
you? And I feel
Oh,
like
100%.
this year I've been seeing way less of that. Like they make the move and then they just die on the gappers. They've been a little easier, but it's like I feel like that can be an edge in itself. Is just recognizing what's changing, recognizing it quicker than who you're playing against.
Dude, I saw somebody from 7 Points. I don't know his name and I forget who it was. 7 Points is a major prop firm, and I know we got to stop talking, but he's a major prop trader. Been there for years. He's a great trader. He hasn't ever used Excel a day in his life. You don't have to use data to have an edge. His edge is based solely on the fact that he knows what the masses are doing and thinking, and in the fact that in his mind, he can execute the way he needs to execute without fluctuation. And that in itself is an edge. And then he manages his risk like he's a robot, also an edge. And
Oh
that
yeah,
creates a positive expectancy for him. So anyway, Shit, we're well over an hour. I ain't done this in a while, so I kept talking and talking and talking. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, it's all good. I feel like we covered some good stuff, and
We did.
we appreciate everybody tuning in.
We're gonna do this again next week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
With
right.
me.
We'll do it
I'm
again.
gonna do it again. I'll be here 2 weeks in a row. Holy shit! Mark your calendars.
That's right.
All right, seriously, man. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. Appreciate you specifically for being patient with me because this summer has been, yeah, it's been great. But back at it, trading videos. We'll start pumping shit out. I'll start trading again, and all the good stuff.
That's right.
All right,
Be ready.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. Y'all have a good weekend. You have a good weekend. Outro thing.
That's right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.